Okay, we're live. This is Senior Forecaster Jeff Wilcox here at the Storm Center. Well, my Storm Center. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Lyon and Sioux County. This is in effect until 4:45. This is for a confirmed tornado that was located 5 miles northwest of Canton, South Dakota, moving southeast at, now let me look at it again, at 15 miles per hour. A damaging tornado and golf ball sized hail is possible with this storm. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged and destroyed. This tornado will be near Inwood around 4:40 p.m. Now, so you can see with this, you can easily see here with this. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. We have a severe thunderstorm warning now for Dickinson County until 4:45. We're going to take a look at that too, by the way, in a little bit as soon as I do that. But we still have a confirmed tornado. It's still in South Dakota, though, but it's about to cross the Big Sioux River into northwestern Iowa at this point. So let's look at the radar at this time. We have this storm. Well, let me put it up here. You can see it right in here is where the tornado is. Let's see if it's still, go to correlation coefficient. We don't see much of anything to say if it might be producing at least debris up into the air. The beam is pretty low at this point, and I'm being but anyway, so we have, let me go back to, let's look at the velocity here. Oh yeah, right here near Canton. It's about to cross the Big Sioux River. It's going to move into far southwestern Lyon County. This would be mainly hitting areas from Inwood, west, and south. But if you're in Inwood, boy, there's a tongue twister. In Inwood, you need to take cover anywhere toward Rock Valley, although Rock Valley, you're not in the warned area. The storm is moving so slowly at 15 miles per hour, you may think, oh, well, I might go out and look for it. Well, you never know when these storms could end up speeding up. So it's not a good idea to be going out in this. We've had hail up to the size of hen eggs with this storm up in Sioux Falls, and even golf ball sized hail further south. And you can see the northern end of this warned area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. That would include areas from Larchwood and Alvord, including Inwood, but the main threat right now looks to be this tornado warning at this point. Now, let me do some work here, because we have to make sure that we are live to everybody. But you can see the, whoops, you can see the tornado. Okay, at this point. Let's see if we're missing anything else. Okay. Okay, we don't have that. Okay, so this is what we have right now. You can see it right here. Now let's see if we have a report. Okay, up in that Dickinson County severe thunderstorm warning, we have hail to the size of $half. That's 1.25 inches at this point. That's with that storm, and we'll take a look at it now briefly. We're not going to stay on that one long. Let's go to that one. It's over here. You can see anybody on the lakes, Lake Okoboji, up in that area, the Iowa Lakes area, you need to, well, the storm is already moving past you, but anybody that was there, you should have known to as the storm approached from the north and west. This storm is heading through Spirit Lake, Arnold Park, north of Milford and Orleans now. It'll be moving away from the lakes area towards Superior, Terrell, and north of Milford at this point. But our attention goes back to this storm. You can see right here, here's a TVS, a tornado vortex signature, with this cell. So let's zoom in on this more. And you can see right in here, we have this area. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. Right here. You can see almost like a B-weir right here. Now let's take a look at the storm relative right here. That is where there might be a good likelihood that there could be a tornado on the ground, where we haven't gotten a confirmation that it's still on the ground. We had a confirmation earlier that it was on the ground northwest of Canton up in here, and now the rotation is down here. Now when we take a look at if we do a time lapse, let's just do you can see right there, right in this area, just to the east of Canton. It's just right on the Big Sioux River right now. So let's see if we've gotten any new reports. I don't see any at this point. Let's see. So right now, let's see, I'm trying to get okay, now I gotta make sure I'm back. Okay, but we still have this possible or more or less confirmed tornado. We're not sure if it's still there or not. We have some other stuff going on. Let's see. But yeah, we still have this. Anybody in Inwood down into northwestern Sioux County, southwestern Lyon County, you need to take cover from this storm. Let's see if we can see it on base velocity. Not as well. There's a lot of range folding, this purple area, so it's a little hard to determine, but you can easily tell here. We're hoping we're not going to have a... Let's see if I tilt up. You can easily see right here from that last frame. Looks to be where it is. We will get an update relatively soon. See if we have one. Okay, the tornado warning continues. The storm is now capable of producing a tornado, which means it's likely not on the ground now. Doesn't mean it's not going to touch the ground again. It was located near Canton. That's what we've been saying, moving southeast at 25. So it is speeding up. Just what I said earlier. You do not need to be going out and saying, well, it's only moving this mile an hour. We can go and see it. Well, it was moving 15. Now it's moving 25. This thing could speed up, it could slow down, it could turn, it could go in any direction. We don't want you out there. We don't want you taking pictures. We want you in your shelter, in the basement, or an interior hallway, bathroom, or closet. If you live in Inwood down toward Fairview, which is actually in South Dakota, or maybe it's not. Fairview, South Dakota. Anywhere from this rotation southeast. And with this storm speeding up a little bit, anybody near Rock Valley needs to be aware of this point. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning down in Monona County. That's in west central Iowa. We will get to that in a minute. That's for a storm that was producing some hail, has been producing some hail up to the size of golf balls earlier. So we will be looking at that later on. But right now we still have this storm. You can see it right here, right in this area. Wait a minute, I got stuff going crazy on me now. Okay, that's not a thing. That's not okay, we have this storm right here. You can see it right here. could illustrate this if I could, but I don't have the capability right now with me doing all this. But right in here, if I don't keep getting interrupted by the beeps. So let's see what is. You can see right in there, just east of Canton, between Canton and Inwood, is where it is right now. It's not on the ground now, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be dropping back to the ground again. So anybody in Inwood, anywhere in that area in southwestern Lyon and northwestern Sioux County, even as far as Rock Valley, I would be aware of this situation, as this cell right here moves southeastward. So anybody, let's see, I'm gonna take radar off for a little bit. Canton in South Dakota, the tornado warning there has expired, which makes sense because the storm is now crossed the river. It is likely in this area. It doesn't look as strong as it did earlier. And something's going on here. I'm being beeped at or something. But anyway, so and so we have this. So we still have this storm right here. So I can see what I'm looking at. Right in here. We haven't had any confirmation since it was in South Dakota if it's still on the ground, but I don't. In any case, it could touch the ground again as it moves to the south and east at 25 miles per hour. So Inwood down to even Rock Valley at this point. It may be slightly weaker. The rotation is not as great, but it doesn't matter if it's weakened slightly or whatnot. So. And we got a report of a 50-mile-an-hour wind gust at Spirit Lake. That's with that storm that's in Dickinson County. That warning continues for areas east of Spirit Lake till 4:45. We also have that warning down in Monona County. And let me take a look at that briefly. And I mean briefly. Let me switch to radar to Omaha briefly. You can see we have a cluster of storms down here. The storm that's capable of producing hail was near Ottawa, golf ball sized hail and 60 miles per hour, with this storm that's right here near Ottawa. Now let's switch back to the radar at Sioux Falls.
Jeff, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear Henry. Right.
All right, I am going. Do you care if I repeat the warning text here?
You can go ahead.
This tornado warning remains in effect for southwestern Lyon and northwestern Sioux. This warning goes until 4:45. This tornado was located near Canton and is moving east at 25 miles per hour. Tornado and golf ball size hail will be possible with this storm. Inwood, you need to be in shelter right now. You are in the path of this storm. The hook appearing on radar looks to be pretty much north, I should say. Take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Avoid windows. If the mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. And I'm looking this on a mobile radar here, and there's a very interesting hook with this storm. I'm going to look on our Velocity product and see if we can see. And it is there. Do we have any reports, Jeff?
Not since the confirmed tornado 7 miles northwest of Canton. And then this warning was for a confirmed tornado 5 miles northwest of Canton, but there's been nothing since. When they did the continuation, it was a storm capable of. The rotation is still there. It was more.
Jeff, what?
Wait a minute. Because right now this.
What are the
Oh, the roads. Crud. I need to get a thing because just a minute. For example, this road, it's right now crossing, it's right around Highway 18, just east of the Big Sioux River Bridge that goes into South Dakota. So anywhere in Inwood, where Highway 182 comes down from Larchwood, and then where Highway 18 then butts southward into Sioux County toward Rock Valley. You don't want to be on Highway 18 from about Canton to Rock Valley at this point, or any of the county roads that are in that area at this point. So, but anyway, let me take
But
the.
again, anyone in Inwood need to be in shelter now, pretty much southwest of Inwood. Those in Rock Valley and Hudson need to be monitoring the storm, and Fairview too. Your Fairview, it doesn't look like you're directly in this warning, but you definitely need to be watching it. The circulation is pretty much west of Inwood at this point.
And Henry, since you're on mobile on your way back home, what you probably need to do is turn your camera off because your audio is getting kind of cruddy. But here's an overview on my radar of all the warnings we have. We have this tornado warning in Lyon and Sioux. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in Dickinson County that had half-dollar sized hail earlier. We have a storm in Monona County that has hail possibly up to the size of golf balls, and that also includes these warnings that are in eastern Nebraska as well. But we always have to go back to this tornado warning because it's the most serious at this point. You can still see the circulation is roughly, let me look at a thing to make sure, is 1, 2, 3, 4 miles west and slightly south of Inwood, but I would not, Inwood, you're not clear yet because this storm could swing to the north and east. Even though the storm is moving southeast, I wouldn't take any chances until this storm is well to your south and east and away from you. Fairview, you're close enough. I believe Fairview is in South Dakota, or it might be on the Iowa side. I'm not sure. I can't remember at this point. And then on down to anywhere down around Rock Valley. If this storm holds together, and I'll tell you this is the, fifth tornado warning for this storm today. This storm has had tornado warnings on it for the last, 2 hours. And we've only had one confirmed tornado. We had a funnel cloud earlier near Sioux Falls, and the Sioux Falls had a lot of hail with this system. And if I put it onto base velocity, and let me do that looks interesting. It was at 3 o'clock, and you can see the storm coming to the south and east at this point. So let's look at that now. Let's see what we have here. We have quarter-sized hail reported in Ottawa. That was at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock. That's with that storm that's moving southeast away from Ottawa at this point. You can kind of see the storm is, the hook is, it looks like there's a B-weir right here. We'll see if we can see anything on correlation coefficient. We don't see a debris ball, at least at this point. Let's take a look at velocity. It's still in that area at this point, but let's see. We still have this storm, and we lost Henry because he's in a remote area on his way back home from somewhere. He's in an area where there's no cell coverage. But you can see right here, it's about 2 miles southwest of Inwood would be where we think the storm is right at this time. So let's take a look at what we have right now. Okay, we have reports, and I already have, and those reports are old, from up in Dickinson County. We have not had any reports of there being a tornado on the ground in Lyon and/or Sioux County at this point. But right now we see roughly maybe about, I would say 40, maybe. I mean, it's broad at this point. It was tighter when it was right here. You can kind of see it's broadening out a little bit. Unlike where it was here, where there was likely a tornado. And then you can kind of see right in here, see it's starting to turn a curve around a little bit. But right now, let's go back to the reflectivity. We don't think this is going to be a major outbreak by any means, but you can kind of see on a day when the Storm Prediction Center has no risk for severe weather, well, there's quite a bit of severe weather. We have 1, 2, 3 warnings, a tornado. We have severe thunderstorm warning up here, 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 here. We have one here in South Dakota. That's with the same tornadic cell. At this point, we're still watching that. We have more cells trying to form as well. So let's take a look at what is going on now. And now we have a report that there is a flash flood that is taking place in Spirit Lake. So these storms, and that's one thing we might have to mention too, that a lot of these storms could be capable of dropping a lot of rain. I would not be surprised with these storms moving so slowly that we could see some flash flooding in some of these areas, especially where these storms are going through so slow. But anyway, right now, I would say Inwood, you still need to stay in cover or go to cover at this point, even though the storm doesn't look as menacing as it did before when it was up here. In fact, let's do a time lapse. I'm going to zoom it out a little bit. You can see right of Canton, and then where it is right now. Kind of see to move. We're kind of seeing it this kind of curl up like this at this point. So we'll see. Will the Weather Service continue its tornado warning? Well, the Weather Service has had this storm with a tornado warning for quite some time. But we have other severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll go back to reflectivity for this. We have this storm that's now southeast of Spirit Lake. It's moving away from the lakes region. It's east of Arnold's Park, east and northeast of Milford, southeast of Spirit Lake, where there was some flash flooding briefly up there. Not sure if the Weather Service may go ahead and issue a flash flood warning. I'm doubting they probably will. They may issue an aerial flood advisory there. This storm, we'll see if the Weather Service in Des Moines issues a severe thunderstorm warning for Emmett County, which would include the city of Esterville down to Wallingford with that cell. Let's go down to this cell in Monona County. This is for a storm south of Ottawa near Blencoe, moving along Interstate 29. We'll see if the Weather Service in Omaha continues this warning as it goes into Harrison County near Pisgah, and then maybe up into southern Monona County near Moorhead. We go back to this tornado warning. In effect, this is for a storm southwest of Inwood. You can kind of see where it would be right here. In fact, it looks slightly better. Let's see what the Weather Service says about that. We now have a slight risk of severe weather that has just been instituted by the Storm Prediction Center. Well, that was interesting. More likely because of the rash of severe thunderstorms that are taking place in this area. So now we're under a slight risk of severe weather. And as you can see, it looks like we have quite a bit of area with the risk. You can see here's the warnings in this area. We have these two, this one, this tornado warning, this severe thunderstorm warning, and then these two here. This warning was just issued by the Weather Service in Sioux Falls up here and far up here with this storm moving south. We go back to this tornado warning. You can see southwest of Inwood. Let's put on base reflectivity. Kind of see the little hook right in here would be where the tornado war is. It's still in Lyon County. It's moving into northwestern Sioux County, north of Fairview. Anybody south and east of there, even in Inwood, you need to stay in shelter at this time. Let's see. Right now we have I had no reports, at least from the Weather Service, of this tornado still on the ground or having been on the ground in Iowa. There was a report up here earlier of the tornado being on the ground up in this area, but not since it's been in Iowa, at least at this point. We'll see if we get a report later on. But as this storm moves, we'll see if this continues. Organized, at least. And look what it looked like earlier. You look at this. This is what I think got them, was this right here. Talk about something that looks like is on the ground at that point. Oops, that's not good. So let's see what we have here. Okay, the warning is I already knew that. But we still have the tornado warning in effect. We'll see if they continue it. And now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in Monona County again. And this will be until 5:15. And this is for that storm that's down south of Ottawa near Blencoe, moving southeast. So we'll be taking a look at that at this point. So we still have this storm. It is still somewhat healthy. Let's see if we can it gives you an indication of something. But you can see it's not as here, but it's still there, but it's getting harder to see it at this point. So we'll see if the Weather Service wants to keep this tornado warning going or if they go to a severe thunderstorm warning. If they go to a severe thunderstorm warning, we're probably going to cut the live coverage at that point for the fact that, yes, we still have quite a few warnings at this point because we have 4 warnings now, but with very lack of people of our staff around, that we would have to probably cut the coverage until we have another tornado warning. We may keep it going at least until maybe 5 o'clock, even if the tornado warning goes away, because we never know when if the tornado warning could get reissued again. But the tornado warning goes in effect until 4:45. We'll see if that's another 11 minutes at this point. And as far as I know, they probably will keep it going for the time being. And the Weather Service in Des Moines has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Emmett and Palo Alto County. That is in effect until 5:15. That's for the storm we mentioned earlier that's moving away from Spirit Lake, heading in the general direction of Estherville. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. We don't have that much time now because we are trying to do as much of our time on the tornado warning as possible. So we may be in live coverage for a little bit longer at this point, because now we have a plethora of warnings. We have this tornado warning for Lyon and Sioux for another 10 minutes. We have this warning in Dickinson County that expires in 10 minutes. New severe thunderstorm warning in southwestern Emmett and northwestern Palo Alto County. This does not include Esterville. This is for areas for Wallingford, west of Grattinger, south of Esterville. This would be along areas Highway 4, south of Esterville, that goes through Wallingford. And then in this area, that's in effect until 5:15, I believe it is. Yes. We have this storm. We have these two storms down here near Blencoe and Ottawa moving south and east. The new warning is just for the area near Blencoe. That's until 5:15. This other warning in Monona County is in effect until 5 o'clock. And then as we have up here, we have this tornado warning. That's in effect until 4:45 for southwestern Lyon and northwestern Sioux County. The storm is located near southwest of Inwood at this point. We may make a mention that the Storm Prediction Center is possibly looking at a watch box for southwestern Minnesota and western Iowa. Be prepared. We could be having a watch now. So we could be in for a very surprise severe thunderstorm outbreak, which we weren't expecting. Yay. So, but we still, now the rotation on this one is not as apparent. It is better up here at these tilts. You can really see it, but look, I would say they probably will go ahead and dump the tornado warning and replace it with a severe thunderstorm warning, and may tag a tornado possible on it with this storm and see if this strengthens again. Otherwise, I don't see them continuing a tornado warning with this at this point. But that doesn't mean anybody in Rock Valley or anywhere south and east of there toward Carmel, Sioux Center, east of Hudson, down into farther into Sioux County, that you need to be like non-concerned. Any severe thunderstorm is dangerous. This storm has already produced hail up to the size of hen eggs that can easily destroy siding. All you'd have to do is look at that damage we saw a couple of days ago in southwest Iowa. We could see something similar with this storm, even if there's no tornado with it at this point. So that's what we have right now. We have this tornado warning, which I'm going to take a guess will probably be replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. And in fact, they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Lyon and Sioux County until 5:30. This is likely to replace the tornado warning, which expires shortly. We're going to read the warning off as soon as I tweet this out, which I did. And you can see there it is right here. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5:30. This is for a storm near Inwood, which we've been saying. Going southeast of 20, golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds are possible. They don't have a tornado possible tag on it, but I would be still watching out for any possible maybe funnel clouds at this point. The warning includes Inwood, although the storm is starting to move away from there. Rock Valley, we've mentioned them. Carmel, Hull, all the way down to near Ireton, and even though Sioux Center is not in the warned area, you can see here's Sioux Center. The polygon clips just northwest of there. Anybody in Sioux Center, you need to be aware of this storm at this point. So when well, let me make sure we're not missing anything. Okay, we're not. Quarter-sized hail was reported at mile marker 112 on Interstate 29. Windshields have been broken out. We saw this on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night, and we're seeing this again. Do not go outside and look for anything or funnel clouds or tornadoes, because this hail did a lot of damage Tuesday, and now we're seeing a repeat of it again tonight or this afternoon. So this tornado warning is likely going to expire as there's a new severe thunderstorm warning. We'll see if they'll continue to watch it, we're sure for sure at this point. This severe thunderstorm warning moving out of the eastern part of Dickinson County near Terrell, moving south and east toward Wallingford near Grattinger and south of Esterville at this point. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Dickinson County. That's for that storm we just showing you. That's for a storm east of Spirit Lake, north of Terrell, moving east, southeast at this point. And they reissued that warning because the warning expires in 5 minutes, and it's likely not going to be out of the warned area yet. So they're just continuing the warning at this point. So you're going to see a new warning possibly pop up. I'm not sure at this point, because they did issue a warning until 5 o'clock, but I don't see it on here. So let's see. Okay. So we have multiple warnings. Okay, here's the new warning. This looks really messy over here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in Dickinson County till 5 o'clock. The 4:45 one is still on here. Palo Alto and Emmett, northwestern Palo Alto and southwestern Emmett until 5:15. This tornado warning expires shortly. Likely is not going to get reissued, as a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for southwestern Lyon into a large portion of western Sioux County until 5:30. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings down here in Monona County till 5 and 5:15. And we have a at this point. So we'll see what happens with this. This storm, let's take a look at the velocity before the tornado warning goes away on it. It's not as impressive as it was before. At this point. So we're likely going to see, and then we have to watch this storm here north of Laverne, possibly producing hail up to golf balls. That storm is going to be heading in the general direction of northeastern Lyon County and maybe northwestern Osceola County. We have this storm moving away from the lakes, moving south of Esterville. We have this storm that the tornado warning is likely going to be allowed to expire, with the severe thunderstorm warning continuing south and east toward Sioux Center, Rock Valley. We have these storms down here near Ottawa, moving south and east, possibly into Harrison County. And in fact, and I will make a mention of this, we're going to move the radar back up here. They just issued, the Weather Service, this is out of the state, but as you'll see soon, remember there's a tornado warning here that's going to be allowed to expire. But as you're going to see shortly, a new tornado warning has been issued, not for this cell that's down here, but for this cell up here northwest of Laverne, Minnesota. So we have another tornado warning, but this is in Rock County, Minnesota. This is near Laverne. So this cell, we're going to have to watch this in the coming things, and there's the tornado warning popping up. And that's moving southeast as well. So let's see. We have not, whoopsie, that's not cool. Not cool. Just had a technical bugaboo here. Bear with me. But the tornado warning has, as you can see, has now gone away. So we have only severe thunderstorm warnings left, along with this tornado warning up here that we're going to have to watch out for in a little bit. We have these severe thunderstorm warnings down here. We have these severe thunderstorm warnings up here. Let me put it on reflectivity to show you. And as you can see, let's look at this before we possibly end live coverage for a little bit. Once we get back to live coverage, we'll probably be back on our regular coverage since we had to do this really fast at this point. But right here, this is, if this isn't anything, that looks interesting. This was for a possible tornado near Sherman, which is actually in South Dakota. And you can see, look at this. This looks really nasty. Now this storm is moving southeast at 15. And as you can see, we'll zoom out. There's the Hook Echo. It's right by the logo. Sorry about that. Here's the cell right here. There's the Iowa border. So we're talking 15, 18 miles north of the border right now. But we're going to keep watching this as it continues to move southeast and see if it continues at this point. But we still have this cell down here. It's mainly the hail core is in Lyon County. Could see some decent wind gusts down here in northwest of Rock Valley. So let's zoom out. We have this cell up here. We have this cell here. We have this cell here. And we have the cells down in Monona County, which we'll zoom out at this point. These are the cells we have at this point. We have these warnings up here. We have these warnings over here. We have this warning here. We have this warning here. And we have these warnings down here. This looks like we should have a watch box area. The Storm Prediction Center is looking at possibly putting this area that you see here in a watch box. Severe thunderstorm or tornado watch, we don't know. It will likely be a short-term watch, possibly only until about 8 or 9 o'clock. So don't expect this to be a long-term watch if they do issue one, because the minute the sun goes down, these storms will start to dissipate and will start to die away. But while they're around, they could produce some severe weather, hail up to the size of golf balls or larger. We could see brief tornadoes. We could see wind gusts to 60 miles per hour or possibly greater in any of these areas where these storms move through. And we could see brief heavy rains, which could cause localized flash flooding. We've already seen that in Spirit Lake. Quarter-sized hail was reported about 15 minutes ago at Inwood. That's in Lyon County from the fire department. So we will see if we'll wait a little longer to make sure we're not going to miss anything, because I don't want to be caught off guard and have something else pop up for the time being. But right now we have this tornado warning up here in Rock County, and that just looks very nasty right there. We're gonna look at. It looks nasty, but 40 or 50 knot shear. We have about 45 to 50 knots of shear up there. Oops, that's not good. You're going to see there's the remnant of the cell that was tornadic earlier down there. 3 miles north of Terrell. Sorry. I probably will get a note from Jason about that because his parents live there. Half-dollar-sized hail was reported 3 miles north of Terrell in Dickinson County. It's with the storm that's moving into Emmett and Palo Alto counties at this point. So we have this storm that looks like could be producing a tornado. In fact, it looks really like anybody in Luverne, in Minnesota, anybody along Interstate 90 from the South Dakota border. I would say anybody on Interstate 90 in Rock County, Minnesota, period, should get off and find shelter, because this storm, if it's like this one down here where it was moving 15 and then it sped up to 25, you don't want to take chances on this. Anybody in the southern part of the county, you are fine for the time being, but you need to be aware of this if you're like in Hills or Steen or anywhere south of Luverne at this point. This storm was rotating. It still has some rotation, likely as a hail and wind producer. Let me go back to reflectivity. We have this storm. Let's just a minute. We have this storm that's produced hail up to the size of $0.50 north of Terrell or Terrell. I might get this town right. This will move south of Esterville toward Wallingford and Grattinger to the south and east. Then we have that cell. We have these cells down here. Let me switch over to the weather office in Omaha for this warning. And then what's worse, we have other cells forming south of Carroll. We have cells over here in, I believe that's Burt County, Nebraska, that are moving southeast slowly. So we have multiple cells at this point. This cell could be producing hail up to the size of, it says 3-inch hail, which would be teacup. My guesstimation is it probably could be producing golf ball sized hail. This would be near Blencoe, Interstate 29. If you are on or close to, or you're seeing us on your mobile device maybe, on Interstate 29, if you're traveling north and you reach the Mondman exit in northern or western Harrison County, stop and pull over and wait for this storm to pass. If you're coming south out of Sioux City, you get to Ottawa, stop and wait for the storm to pass further south before continuing on. And we would worry about this storm that's right here northwest of Craig and Tecuma and see if this storm could gain some strength. The biggest hail core is with this cell, though, because here, comparatively speaking to Blair, Nebraska, they had a horrendous hailstorm Tuesday. And here's another one not far away to the north. This storm up here, here's Blair, Nebraska. This storm would move away from them. And this storm here doesn't look like it's going to be producing as much hail, but a lot of the cars at that dealership, Woodbridge, a lot of the car dealerships in Blair had all their windshields busted out. A storm like this could easily damage more of the cars with rain, and a lot of it could destroy the cars even further with the rain and whatnot with the problems they have down there. So we'll see what we, whoops, that's not what I want. But right now we are going to we're going to stop the coverage here for the time being and switch over. So we'll be right back at this time. So stay tuned. We'll probably be back in about 5 minutes or less, more than likely. You're listening and have been watching live severe weather coverage from the Iowa Weather Network. Storm Center Extraordinaire. We'll be back, we hope, or we hope not.